Hey, I'm Jeff from the Rive team, and I'm going to show you a new way to add list items to text runs. You may have spotted it already in the data panel. There are some new property types under list attributes that include textStyle and textContent. There's also a new option to add a template for a text run. Selecting the template will create a new view model with those two new properties added already. These are both string types, but they're a special property and you won't be able to edit the name of them. These allow us to define the text content and text style of new text runs that will be added into a text element through a list property. So let's look at this. We're going to create a basic text element, give it some width, and we'll give it a really simple style. We're going to do black text on a white background, enter 20 point. Sort of your default font when you create a new text element in Rive. Let's add another style to this text element, and we'll name these styles so that we can keep track of them. Let's call the first one copy, and let's call the second one bold. And we'll change the weight of the font here. We'll go for black to make it really obvious, and let's give it a color. We'll make it orange so it's really easy to see. Let's add a second text run and then use that style so we can see what it looks like. So now this text element has two styles that are available to be used. Let's come over to the view model that's bound to our artboard, view model 1. Let's add a list property. When we add new items to the list property, it's going to use the only other view model that's available, which happens to be our text run view model. If you have multiple view models in your project, this is where you would select which one you're going to use. And you can see we can also choose an instance. Let's set up a couple instances in our text run view model so that we can create a sentence with a bold phrase in the middle. So let's rename this first instance. I'll call it 1. I'll create 2 more. We'll call them 2 and 3. So for item number 1, let's use the copy style. And we're going to type in the name of the style that we created in our text element. So here it's called copy, and our other style is called bold. So we'll type in the name of our style, and we'll type in some content here. Go to instance number 2. This one we'll use the bold style, and let's make this string say lists to text runs, put a space. And for instance number 3, we'll go back to the copy style and we'll say in Rive. So those 3 lines together create a sentence. This is a demo of list of text runs in Rive. Let's add that to our text element. So under our existing text runs, you can see the opportunity to bind here. This will bind to a list property. So when we bind to this list property, we'll see the items that we've added into this list. But so far, we have only added 1 item. Let's come back to our list property and add the next parts of the sentence. So we'll use instance 2 for the second one, and we'll add another one and add instance 3. So now when we preview, we're going to see this is a demo of lists to text runs in Rive. And you'll notice the 2 text runs that we created to preview our styles are still here. When you bind a list, those are going to be added to the end of any existing text runs. And since we're going to use our list, we can go ahead and remove these 2 existing text runs. And now we have a text element that shows us the content that we put into our list elements. One nice thing about this method is that because we're adding these strings to a text element, we'll be able to change settings like whether or not the text wraps, where it aligns, and even add text modifiers like position. So we can animate any text that is added by a list. And if we want to create additional styles, let's say maybe we want an italic style, we can just add a new style. We'll give it a name, choose what it looks like. We'll go for bold italic here. We'll change the color. And let's change our last portion of the string to this style now. Now when we preview, we'll see that italic style being applied as well. One thing that's important to note is that the styles need to exist in the text element, but you can bind the same list to multiple text elements. So if we create another text element, we give it the same style name, but we change the style of what's used. We can add the same content and use the same style names, even though this text element has different styles applied than this text element. One place this might be especially useful is when you're translating your content into other languages. Some languages would put something like a name at a different position within the phrase, and you might need a different number of text runs to accommodate that. Try combining styles to get interesting effects that can be updated at runtime using multiple styles together. And try using text modifiers to get interesting motion and effects to your text too. Some runtime setup, you could even do something that would parse markdown formatting to add your styles.